you. My name is Musi if you're new here. Today we are back with a video I believe I filmed once or twice already on this channel. You can already tell from the title, today is yet another video about books, all of our favorite things, at least on my behalf. Before I jump into this video, however, I wanted to acknowledge something, and that is, today is my first official year on this channel, producing content, filming ASMR videos, whatever you want to call it. A year ago today I uploaded my first ever ASMR video, and yeah, I think it's amazing. I didn't really think I'd be growing this fast, at least that's my point of view, in like a year. And so I'm very thankful, and I just really hope that I keep evolving, I keep getting more professional with what I'm trying to do, I keep hopefully maintaining my audience, getting a bigger audience, and just like being able to share some things of my life with you, I guess, and we could be friends. Nonetheless, this was just like a little acknowledgement I wanted to do before we officially hop into today's video. I'm filming yet again with my new microphone. I've been obsessed. I hope you are too. But nonetheless, today I have a really big book haul. I want to kind of say something before, is usually I don't really go out and buy books unless I don't have a book at home I want to read anymore. Also, if you've been following me for a while, you also know that I'm a big Kindle fan. I love my Kindle, just for the practicality of it. I know that Amazon is kind of to some people, however, I just like my Kindle. It's just like a very nice device. The Kindle ebooks are fairly cheap, so usually I don't go out and buy books and just like have them at home, like a stack, and just read them. But at the moment I do. I'm not sure how that happened, but some of these were gifts from like my birthday and whatnot, so I have, let's count together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books that I'm going to be talking about today with you. I have everything. I have romance, I have romantasy, I have fantasy, I have, I think that's a, like, non-fic. Oh, actually, no. Normal fiction, I think. Ugh, I'm not sure. English is not my first language, so I'm not entirely sure. But nonetheless, I think I'll just start with the book that I already finished. Out of this stack of 9 books, I've already finished 2 of those. I will be talking about those and rating them in this video. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. The first book that I have is this one. This is V.E. Schwab's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. LaRue. It looks like this. A very beautiful book. And you know me, I love to fold my pages whenever I like something. For this book, I have a very hard time trying to rate it, I have to admit honestly. It felt extremely long. I believe this is close to 600 pages, at least in the book, like the physical form that I own it. I don't know, I had a like-hate relationship with this book. There were some things I thought, wow, this is really deep, this is really right, an important topic to be had. However, sometimes it wasn't really that interesting. Like, I kind of felt the need to push myself through the book to finish it. There were multiple times where I was just like, okay, I might just stop, because I didn't really care that much. But I pulled through and actually did finish it. I haven't rated this. If you follow me on GoodReads, you can see that I've marked this book as read. I have not rated it though, and I don't know if I ever will. Mainly because some parts I really did enjoy, other parts I really didn't like. So there were like a few parts where I'd be like, okay, that's like a straight up 4-star out of 5 stars. However, then there were also some parts where I was just like, okay, like I'd give this like a 2 stars right now. It's extremely boring, and I'm sorry to say that because I know that this book is really loved by a lot of people. It just wasn't that amazing for me. This was also the first time I've ever read something like this with like historical things or whatever. This plays between 2013 and 1740 because our main character is 300 years old. But yeah, like I said, no specific rating. I just read it and yeah, I did like it. I also didn't like it. It's really difficult. I also don't really want to say anything which might make somebody dislike me. So if you love this, then I'm really glad you did, and I'm sure, and I can understand why somebody would love this book. It was just a little bit too slow-paced for my personal preference. So this is the first book that I purchased but already read. I read this a while ago, I believe 2-3 weeks ago, I'm not entirely sure, but something along that. I'm still trying to figure out how to film and hold this little microphone. I could just clip it on here, but then it's a little bit quiet, so I'm not sure. But yeah, ignore me, just focus on the video. I love the sticky finger sounds on books. So this is book number 1. The second book that I'm going to be talking about, I think I'll do the books which are like standalones, and then I'll do a book series that I'm currently reading. But I'm just gonna take the books of my out of my stack in just the way that they're on there right now. This is the second book that I have. This is Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl. I don't know why, but recently I've been really intrigued, or really have been wanting to read a book with like girl rage, I guess, women rage. I think it's girl rage. Girl dinner. Okay, never mind. However, yeah, I looked up some books, and I heard that this is a book that people really, really liked. It is, I'll just read it back to you probably. I think that's the smartest way to do it, because I have to say I did not really look into this book like extremely much. I just saw that a lot of people, a lot of the booktubers I saw read a lot, they all recommended this book. Side note, this book is extremely tiny in comparison. Like, look at that. I just thought that was really funny. Like, I have really big hands, but yeah. The back says, marriage can be a real killer. On the morning of their 5th wedding anniversary, Nick's wife Amy has disappeared. Nick is weak, Nick is a liar, and maybe he's not the very best of husbands, but is he a killer? Amy's diary reveals turmoil over their marriage, strange sicknesses, and her deep wish to be a mother. But is she telling the whole story? As the evidence slowly mounts and the police investigate deepens, Nick is incriminated in horrible ways. He swears he didn't murder his beautiful wife and goes on to the offensive to clear his name. The mystery of Amy's disappearance only gets more tangled as secrets unfurl from the web of their naughty marriage, and it becomes clear that something may have happened more disturbing than death. I mean, if that doesn't interest you, then I don't know what will. So this is somewhere like in the realm of like true crime, something like that, I would say. At least I believe in the bookstore that I purchased it, the section was called True Crime, I think. But yeah, some people say that this book's absolutely insane. A lot of people say that this is their favorite like true crime, horror-ish kind of book that they've ever read, which is a bold statement. So of course I was intrigued, especially when I found it after people being like, oh, girl rage is this book. I have no idea. I have tried to not look up much. This was actually my first time reading the back of it. So I have no idea what awaits me. If you've read the book, let me know if you liked it, but don't spoil me. Don't spoil me of any of these, please, because nobody likes to be spoiled, right? So, this is our second book that I bought. This book also, probably because it's just so tiny, was only €6. Normally, where I live, I pay like 10 to 12 euros per book. Friends by LaRue. This book I got from a recommendation of one of my friends. After I purchased, I just realized that there's a dead bird on the cover, which I find kind of disturbing, but yeah, this is a well-loved book talk book. A lot of people love this, also people who kind of, not compare, but like they put them in the same category, I guess, with The Secret History by Donna Tartt. The Secret History hasn't been too intriguing for me, I have to admit. However, this book I did find interesting. So a friend originally, what's it called? She recommended this book to me, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, I could get behind that. This is what my copy looks like. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it has like dents inside. I'm not sure. This book's also pretty long, I believe. Actually, never mind. It's 420 pages. That's not that long. Let's do reading the back yet again. Oliver Marks has just served 10 years for a murder he may or may not have committed. On the day of his release, he is greeted by the detective who put him in prison. Detective Collarbone is retiring, and he wants to know what really happened a decade before. As a young actor at an elite conservative, Oliver noticed that his talented classmates seemed to play the characters on stage and off. Villain hero Tempest, though he was always a supporting role. But when the teachers changed their casting, a good-natured rivalry turns ugly, and the plays spill dangerously over into real life. When tragedy strikes, one of the 7 friends is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. I believe this book has been out in the world for quite some time, and it is still a very beloved book. I have seen so many people of like tabbing the whole book up, basically, and just like writing so many notes inside of the book, and just like people just love this book, and I hope that I will be one of them. I'm not sure. Like I've said, I don't think I mean, it's kind of like in the scheme of like true crime yet again, but not quite there yet, I would say. But yeah. If You Were Villains. So that is the 3rd book on my physical TBR that I bought. And I obviously just put on the physical TBR. Oh, actually, one thing, side note. I got my own hair last Friday. I don't know, I wanted to go to the hairdresser, but as you can clearly tell, I have naturally curly hair. And I've not had the best hair cutting experiences with people who didn't really specifically know how to cut curly hair. And I was gonna go to the hairdresser, but then I was just like, actually maybe not, because to get a curly haircut or curly cut is just like getting a normal haircut for any kind of hair, but just that they make it like curly, and then they're like, oh, now we can want 200 euros for a haircut. So I was like, no, thank you very much, and I followed a TikTok tutorial. But I think it turned out pretty nice. I got layers. I'm not sure if you can tell, but my goal was basically to get it a little bit more voluminous, but to keep the length that I already had it, because I do really like the length that it's at, and I think I did a pretty okay job for considering I did this all on my own. So yeah, that was a side note. The next book that I will be showing to you, I've already showed in another video, and that is from my Milan haul. I was in Milan, Italy for 5 days, almost a month ago already, Jesus Christ, and I bought this book at an Italian bookstore. I have no idea what it's called, I cannot remember, but this is the book that I got. I already talked about it, so I'll quickly go over this. This is Diary of a Tuscan Bookshop by Alba Donati. This is just about a woman who has lived her whole life in the city, and then she goes to the countryside in Italy was just very special because these are like supposed to be books that are written by Italian citizens and just published in English, and they sold it there, so I was like, oh, I'll get that. Then I have 2 love stories or romances. The first book that I have is Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I have never read a Lynn Painter book, so this is the first. She writes, I believe, YA romance books, and this book just kind of intrigued me. I kind of like the cover and I kind of hate it. It's a weird thing. Technically I think it's pretty cute, but also it's kind of very in your face. But hey. I also find it kind of interesting that there's like people drawn on the cover. I don't really see that too often, I have to say. But yeah, this is my first Lynn Painter book. Obviously I haven't read it yet, so I can't tell you much about it, but I'll read the back to you yet again. The first time Bailey meets Charlie, he is the worst. Fast forward a few years and the 2 are thrown together working at a water park. Con is the obnoxious know-it-all, and now Charlie's pretty fun, except for insisting that guys and girls can't just be friends. Determined to prove him wrong, Bailey makes a bet that quickly gets out of hand, especially when Charlie may have made a secret wager of his own. Can the 2 hide their feelings for one another just to win? A fake dating romance that will have you betting on love better than the movie is probably maybe the book, if you're into books, that is mostly known to you, because I think that's like her biggest book that she has out so far. But I don't know, this one just intrigued me a little bit more. I don't know if I've ever read a fake dating book where there was a fake dating drop. I honestly cannot tell you, but I do not think I have. So I'm obviously very intrigued. I wonder how long is this? Yeah, it's not that long. It's 380 pages, so yeah. I think it could just be cute, a lot of fun. Hopefully somewhere with romance. I'm not sure what time of year this plays in. If you know, let me know, please. But yeah, so we've got that. Very different. Like, the books I'm showing you right now are all sort of different from one another, but we love that. We love a girl who loves variety. Am I right? Yeah. Second romance book, Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I've not read this, obviously, either. One thing I do have to say is that I love the way the cover feels. It is very different to the other covers that I have, that I own. But yeah, I also like that's pretty. I love floppy books. Please, if you like them too, let me know in the comments, because I don't know, they just are different. I also just like oftentimes prefer the US covers of books above UK versions, because the UK books are like really hard, like they're not floppy at all. They're pretty sturdy, and I don't really love that. So yeah. Anyway, this is like one of the also very popular books on Book Talk or whatever. Oh, it's also with an exclusive extended epilogue. How fancy. I'll yet again read the back to you. Archer's Voice. I wanted to lose myself in the small town of Bailey on Maine, to forget everything I'd left behind. The sound of rain, the blood, the coldness of a gun against my skin. For 6 months, every breath has been a reminder that I survived and my dad didn't. I'm almost safe again, but the moment I meet Archer Hale, my entire world tilts on its axis and never rights itself again. Until I trespass into his strange, silent, and isolated world, Archer communicates with no one. Yet in his whiskey-colored eyes, something intangible happens between us. There is so much more to him than just his beauty, his presence, or the ways his hands communicate with me, on me. But this town is mired in secrets and betrayals, and Archer is the explosive center of it all. So much passion and so much hurt. But it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need to heal and to live. I mean, doesn't that sound extremely promising? I feel like this has like 5-star potential, because I do really enjoy like fun, quirky romances like Betting on You, but they don't usually hit as is. So I'm very intrigued about this. Also, I have no idea what to think of this cover. I mean, I love the way that it feels, but I don't know what I think of the cover itself. I mean, it's kind of cute, is it? It seems kind of old school, but it's still cute. So we've got that. The last 3 books are books in a series, and I'm very excited to get talking about them. I'll just stack them on top of each other, and I'll show them to you. Drum roll, please. It's the Carville trilogy. Yeah, I am so excited. Look at these ginormous books. Okay, let's get to talking about each individual one. First book, Carville, I've already read. I've already read this baby, okay? I rate this 4-star. It was amazing. It was so fun. However, I do have to say one thing, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I didn't know him before, so I read the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy before the Carville trilogy, and that's not necessarily something you're supposed to be doing, but I didn't know. And I loved the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. It was absolutely amazing. I ate it up, I'm telling you. So, I was a bit scared going into this book, but none of the characters of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series were in this book, at least in the first one. So yeah, I gave this a 4-star, really fun. I also love the covers, genuinely. Stephanie Garber, this woman has me in a chokehold. I mean, her covers that she puts out in the books. Where have I been? Seriously, where have I been? Okay, I loved this. Amazing. So fun. 4 stars. This book is about Scarlett and Julian. Yeah, I think that's the first time I've ever said the name out loud. Nonetheless, Carville is like a once-a-year kind of game with performers and whatnot, and you kind of get clues, and then you have to follow them, and whoever wins gets a prize. In this book, it's a wish. So, you just follow Scarlett as she just goes about trying to find all the clues and figure it all out, the game Carville. So this is the first book in the series, and like I said, this was super fun. I also love the way that this book feels, and it's, again, very floppy, which, if you haven't already figured it out, we love here. Oh, my cat just jumped on my bed. That's okay. Also, just like I already said, gorgeous, gorgeous books. They're just fantastic, okay? I could not resist. Then, currently, I am reading Legendary, the second book in the series. This is about Scarlett's sister, Donatella, and just like her, she's made a deal with somebody, and now she has to fulfill her side of the deal. And so we just follow her. There's yet again another Carville game. This is not on like a normal island or whatever that it usually plays on, but it's kind of, how do I say it? Kind of for like someone's Elendin's heir. I mean, the queen or something. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, I don't know how to describe this to you. But yeah, also, yet again, a really beautiful book. And yeah, I'm halfway, I think. Let me check. I'm in chapter 22. Page 240, and this book has, I believe, 450 or something, maybe a little bit more pages. So, yeah. This doesn't make the best sticky finger sound, because it's like a very soft cover. Also, these books feel absolutely great in your hands. I know that that's maybe kind of like stupid to say, but when I do read a physical book, because I love reading on my Kindle, but when I do get a physical book, I want it to feel good. this is the third and final book in the trilogy. I'm not sure what this is about, and I won't be reading the blurb to you because A, it might spoil you, but it also might spoil me, and I don't want that. This is kind of different looking from the other ones. It has a purple cover with gold and just like a little bit of like a different vibe to it. I feel like I personally would have preferred it if they were all black, because the first two books are black and then this is purple, but you can't have everything nonetheless. I'm so excited to be reading this. In general, I'm just like really excited to read all of these books that I just showed to you today. However, there's no more books to talk about, so this actually brings us to the end of today's video. I want to thank you so much for spending